Hey members, I thought I'd chat to you first because some of you have been with me for 5+ years. And as there are only 40 hours in a business week, I feel that what I'm relatively pivoting into right now will be snapped up pretty quickly, and my time will be allocated a lot to that, alongside, of course, developing the MTOPS AI. So I thought to reach out to the members to see if what I've by accident stumbled across will be meaningful to your lives, as it pretty much changed and is changing mine. So what I'm talking about is, through developing the MTOPS AI, after getting the AI to understand the MTOPS strategy, I had this Ferrari engine in the warehouse. And from there, I realized that it as a standalone wasn't enough. So by requirement, I had to build a platform that would integrate with the data requirements of the AI. I'll skip through this part, the technical stuff I don't want to bore you guys with, but that needed to have interaction with the live market charts information coming in an AI way, not like the MTS way in a normal trading view chart, as well as the interaction with the database, the servers, putting the trade through special logic and going into the likes of exchanges such as MetaTrader 5. So I've done all of that, and it was very difficult but very necessary, especially if I'm to chase the dream, which I'm currently am, to have my workflow of trading, the way I do it, automated. Okay, that's what the last 3 years has been about. I didn't quite realize at the time what it was, or this year in particular, because the rest of it happened this year, what it is that I was actually doing. I was building because I needed it, but after doing some deep dives around the internet and just seeing what's really taking off right now, this major shift, I felt like I should be doing this for others as well. So what I'm talking about is, maybe I can show you real quick. Workflow automation. In other words, it's tasks done by a person, automated on their behalf, so that the process or the task or whatever it is done on behalf of the person and business, so that they don't have to spend time wasted on manual, trivial, non-essential, redundant tasks each day. And to be honest, I really wish I had this some years ago whilst I was growing MTOPS, because the challenge with wanting to help and give is that when you give from an empty cup, that kind of turns into a form of resentment. In other words, I was really in a place of bliss when MTOPS was growing, when TradingView interest turned into friends from around the world, where I could sit on a call and shift a person's trading experience beyond the noise and into something meaningful. And I just wanted to give everything I had learned along the way, all the pain and all the rest of it I had to face, into something that will fast track the guys forward. And what landed up happening as I kind of grew to large, in a way, 300 plus members from around the world, from New Zealand right around to Hawaii and every major time zone in between, just to kind of put into reference like the amounts that I was giving in. I wanted to give, but I was ignoring sides of my business that should have been growing because I was so entrenched in the reasons I wanted to do the business, which was to help people, to expand them, to hear the stories, to build bonds, and so on. But anyone who's been in a business owner or sales manager in sales or something to that effect, cash flow is king. You got to keep the business alive. And I took my eye off the ball. I did daily market updates just for the group themselves because I was giving the direction to a developer to get the charting system built up, and I was focused about the one-on-one action and trading journeys and that sort of thing. But I didn't focus on the funnel. I didn't focus on getting out there, putting myself into different environments to attract new talent or new students, which is quite a process. Like, again, if anyone's been in sales, it starts off with just lead generation. And then lead generation, you got to clean the data, because even if you're getting information in, it's kind of convoluted, like there's old email addresses or outdated numbers on the website or on Google or something to that effect. So you got to validate that on like a Facebook page or on a web, like an official website. And then once you got that, now you've got a list. And then of that list, you got to kind of try and organize it so that there is the more relevant leads than the less relevant leads. And then of that, it's a case of putting it into a CRM, picking up a phone, going out and seeing if that person will meet with you, and then the meeting happens. So for me, I really didn't like the preamble to that whole process. I loved meeting people. Like when I was in corporate, when I was in that realm, I was meeting with all these super intelligent action takers, these business owners who are, I hope I'm not rambling on, but I think it's very relevant, who were masters of their craft. They were just interesting people that made it happen, raised the money, and developed these businesses. And getting to understand that bond and connection and self-growth. And I used to work for really good companies, so I could actually deliver real value to these guys as well. And I loved all of that interaction. The enhancement of another was what I loved. But then I got back to the office. I've got to try to remember the 3 to 5 meetings I had that day, try to put it in the right place, and go into the CRM, and the CRM's down and the internet's tricky, and then I'm getting interrupted and disrupted by taking a phone call, and there's like emergency management meeting. Like, it was just impossible to remain in momentum. It was impossible to remain positive all the time, and I lost out on a lot of business growth because I was just trapped and drowned, and eventually my soul got sucked out of me in these environments because I wasn't truly able to do what I love to do. And that was bad for the business as well, because they have got this talent who's self-driven, who's hungry, all of these beautiful attributes, and can get the job done, but for a large portion of the week wasting time on emails, trying to fill this requirements. That manager needs me to go to operations to explain this client's thing that happened 2 weeks ago, and then accounts need me to follow up with the customer to find out why there was a late payment. Like, there's all this other rubbish that took me away from my core drive, my passion, the reason why I wanted to be there in the first place. And this is part and parcel why I wanted to get out of that environment. And thankfully, Bitcoin and crypto and trading and now AI and everything came into my world and allowed for that shift. But I mean, if I had something like this workflow, so all the manual rubbish that was stealing my life force, workflow, that stuff automated on my behalf, hell, I might have, I mean, God forbid, that's were the case, like everything for a reason, right? I would probably still be there, and I'd probably still be happy, because the load would have been off of me. So here's an example of think of all these little things. here as like the Uber car, and then the destination is out here. So say, for example, one of the things that I personally hated was going from an awesome meeting, something that I was like glowing from. Just I went the extra mile for this client. I got a special rate for this client. I really understood their needs. It was a big client. It was a long-term partnership, like all that kind of stuff. It was a good fit for the company. I'd go from this high back into this office where the neon lights, not neon lights, the fluorescent lights, that the cold white lights and this cheap carpets more often than not. Anyway, I've been in this environment where now I've got to focus on filling the pipeline up again. So I have to go to Google, search for capture, put that into, and I really like that, like the filling the pipeline part, and even with MTOPS and even with just general environments where it's just like low interest, it started to kill my business flow, and it started to kill my the cash flow and that sort of thing, because I got too involved doing what I loved, and that became problematic for management eventually, and even MTOPS, if I'm being honest. So should I have had something like this that could geographically map out the area of my geography, my hunting ground, all right? Back then, I'm just talking about sales because that's one of the things I can really relate to, and that's something that every single business needs to survive. So if it could geographically go to that square on the map, whatever that square may be, call it downtown or the city, check in with Google, have Google populate all of the business addresses and contact information for that square, that city, or whatever the case may be. Put that into a Google Sheet document and have some form of organization. So that's where AI actually steps in. I might be jumping ahead here, and have it organized so that it makes sense. So whatever the case may be. And then, I mean, even to take that cold sheet, to warm it up, go to each individual recorded website. Firstly, see if it's still up and running, see the last time the website was updated, or if there is a Facebook page, that kind of stuff. Like, see if the business is still active, phase 1. Phase 2, I think you can get the flow here. Phase 2 is validate the credentials. Phase 3 is how big is this business. Phase 4 is actually look at the write-ups and descriptions in the business. Give it a summary. Like, you could do that now is what I'm trying to say. Like, summarize that business into a certain cell or whatever that's you can I'm getting a bit technical, but just a summary of that business. And then from there, have a structure of, this is what my business can do. This is where my business thrives. You don't want to try and satisfy everybody. It's just 8 billion people in the world, all the stuff you already know. But say, for example, you have an ideal client profile. Like, this is where we serve best. These are the guys that I can take the distance. And then it goes into a space of matching against or sorting to, right, this is a small business, so not a new business, then won't necessarily be the ideal fit. This is a business that you need to submit contracts through and proposals 3 months in advance. And then there's a sweet spot in between that is whatever service or product you can best serve right there. So then it could organize that into a report. And if I got in on a Tuesday morning and that report was waiting there for me, including contact details, including it's updated in the CRM on my behalf already, all that stuff in my calendar or just emailed, whatever the case may be, it's ready there for me. I could gladly spend an hour, pick up the phone and say, hello, this is me. I would love to help. Can I speak to the decision maker to find out if they are on the same page? Let's go. And then go to that meeting, record the meeting, take the recording, and right here, for example, put it through a process where it transcribes the meeting, puts that into its different relevant, like you can make it relevant, or imagine back in the day, make it relevant to my requirements. What are the next steps? What are the pain points? What are our solutions? When is it expected by? Who else in the company needs to know about this? And then, and whilst I'm driving back to the office or to my next appointment, all of that was going on in the background. What a pleasure it would be to come back into the office, to see happy sales assistants, to see happy accounts department, to see happy sales manager. Everyone's informed immediately, or just shortly after the meeting itself, as well as getting their own processes, like that. This is where it becomes like a system, their own processes updated with this is what is required by then, and so on and so forth. And that's just kind of just like the workflow element of it. With AI, it can actually study things in advance and be preemptive. For example, payments and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to jump around too much, but what I want to get across is that to have the workflow, my manual stuff, my day-to-day stuff, even if it was an hour or 2 hours taken away, flip. Ideally, like 6 hours, just put that manual stuff over to AI. What a pleasure my business day would have been like, even growing MTOPS, to have all of that stuff. So where is the person from? What are they about? Why trading for them? What is their timeline? Are they a swing trader? Are they an investor? Are they a day trader? What are the requirements? What is the hot topic? What is the most what are the things that people are struggling with now? Because maybe some Telegram messages went out via DM, just checking in, like, hey, how was this week for you personally? That kind of stuff. That got pulled into reports. I could do like a major video all at once, but instead I was just doing it myself, just scrambling. And when I had the energy before kids, then that was okay, because I'll be up all hours and just hitting it, and then building and creating and then expanding and that kind of stuff. But then I had kids, the interrupted sleep, the changing nappies, amongst everything else. And then the markets were happening and analysis paralysis and feeling like a zombie at the end of the day. And just like kind of sitting there blank-faced or blurry-faced around the dinner table. Like it wasn't sustainable. And again, if I had this then, who knows, right? But thankfully, MTOPS AI and all that kind of stuff is happening, so I could get to this point of understanding the requirements and the importance of the workflow. I think I might shoot soon. I heard a kid crying. Automated and now enhanced by AI. So the AI component, it takes away the robotic element of it, ironically. So I hate the newsletters and updates and generic communication and just like that template blast that goes out. I just can't stand it. So email marketing for me is dead. A lot of marketers online say it's not dead. For me, it's super dead. And also you get a bunch of scammers that kind of reach out to you, and it's just like it's a hard thing to do online, right? Is to get the interest of new customers if it's not done correctly. The difference with the AI in the automated workflow is that you get to, and this is where these other elements, so don't get bogged down by, this is kind of just to give you a visual reference of what it looks like on the inside, or an example of, but the AI bits have their own version of understanding of who you are in that spot. So I've got my own way of communicating, I've got my own signature, I've got my own style, and people can quite easily pick out if I'm reading off of a script, if I'm not being genuine and that sort of thing. Even when ChatGPT was coming out, I sent a few ChatGPT messages to the group, or may have responded to some questions via using ChatGPT's response. And it's just, people can sniff it out. People don't really like Photoshop photographs. People don't really like AI generated adverts and that kind of stuff. People like dealing with people. So the beauty of having AI in the mix is that the task can still be done on your behalf in the way in which you want to do it yourself, your characteristics, your persona. all right, at every micro step of the way. So not just one email blast that goes out or whatever the case would be. So all of that is relevant and available now. So why am I saying all of this? Well, a lot of my focus right now is my gold bricks. And every time I hand out a gold brick, something else suffers. I've been on the markets and trading. Don't know if you can tell by the bags out of my eyes, but just by the end of the day, the analysis paralysis, that kind of stuff, it kills me. The just sitting at the screens and that kind of stuff, it kills me, because you got to keep a business going, and a business needs money. And I don't want to get too personal, but the private investors that were going to kind of support me through this final phase, well, assumingly final phase of the MTOPS development of the AI, all ran into personal difficulties. And it was just, and the only reason I say that is because, and there was multiple stories, is because disposable income after COVID and the nest eggs that got eaten up and the rising prices, like the world's kind of really difficult to survive in right now. All things considered. I know America is suffering through tariffs and such. Anyway, I gotta go soon. But what I'm trying to say is that I've now realized that I can take this workflow automation via the tool addition of AI to others, to help them with their own days, their businesses, their departments, whatever it is, whatever pain point they're experiencing, I'm now able to do that. So my MTOPS members, as I said, you've been with me for a very long time. What I'm into right now is hot property. I don't need to get into the whole semantics of the business at large and the massive layoffs because of AI and all that kind of stuff going on, and mega companies spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions per quarter with this whole AI strategy and transformation within their own businesses. What I'm wanting to do is take my skill as a kind of AI freelancer, if you will, task orientated, kind of one and dones initially before the longer relationships get formed, so I can get more momentum and cash flow into the MTOPS project, so I can still pretty much have my cake and eat it, have all the bills paid. I don't have to necessarily sit on the charts myself and go through the psyche drain that requires, all the emotional ups and downs. Get MTOPS built, but also at the same time enhance businesses or professionals through this major transition of where we're going through. If that's all kind of very wordy, let me just break it down to this. If someone values their time per hour at $100 and say, I can do a process like this that will save them an hour a day. That's 5 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 20 hours a month, roughly 2,400 hours a year. So that's just the time saving. The financial saving, if you are working, if you value yourself at $100 an hour, $500 a week, $2,000 a month, $2,400 a year. I think I got that wrong. It's a $24,000, maybe $24,000 a year that you'll be saving by saving that 1 hour a day. And that's just kind of very watered down small league stuff. For talented managers who are better utilized, etc., they can really ramp up and scale up really quickly. So that's just kind of small numbers. So where I'm getting to is that I'm going to plug myself in to people's businesses or into personal people's days to help them automate this stuff, and pivot into that direction for the foreseeable future, carving out time every single day so I can continue developing MTOPS AI. And again, there's only 40 hours a week that are available with MTOPS AI, probably even less than that, 30 hours a week then. So I'm looking to take on between 3 to 5 projects and dive into those environments. So if that applies to you right now, if you want to kind of keep ahead of the race, if you want to remain competitive, if you want to lower costs, because AI operations are, I mean, just to put it in perspective, something like generating a lead, putting it, warming it up, getting it into CRM, phoning to speak to this and that. If it takes a human 25 tasks, okay, it will take them around about an hour to do. So said differently, each one of those, it takes minutes at a time. So let's say up to 25 tasks, it will take more than an hour, but an hour to do. And AI can get those 25 tasks done in a minute. Something like this, okay, let's call it under 5 minutes. Something like this is just trigger based. Bang, 1, 2, 3. Sidestep, double check, bring it back, 3, 4. Go to the internet, trigger, go to personal database, split it out to if then. So if it needs to go to the team researcher, if not, and it gets merged into the knowledge hub again. So it can be put into the CRM, documented, sent to the different departments. That can all get done in under 5 minutes. So that's the kind of stuff that businesses these days are going to be up against. You've got these giant companies who are spending literally, it's all over the news, tens of millions and above for AI consultants, AI strategists, and that's just for consultancy and strategy. That's before implementation. So where I'm coming from is that I can do a lot of what they can do. All right, I've got decades of business experience. I've been to one of the most expensive schools. I've got my MBA. I've dealt with the higher ranking ladders inside corporates. I've run my own business. I get the whole network. So I can offer professional skills like the big companies, but I don't necessarily want to take on other staff myself. I like to make sure that I'm very interpersonal and everything gets done well, efficiently, and robustly. So I'm taking on up to 3 to 5 projects up front. And if the MTOPS community, if guys like yourselves don't see the value in that and you don't want to jump in on that, I just want to give you the first opportunity of everyone in the world to do so, because again, my guys have been with me 3-5+ years. To have this shift done by someone that's familiar, someone who's fought the fight, who's jumped into this world, who can really get this done efficiently. AI is like my second language now. I've built AI models from scratch, to put it into perspective, and then all of that, it's all coming together into like this amazing service that I can offer. I don't want to become an agency because I don't want to deal with this. It's just too overwhelming. MTOPS AI will be my core overall forever. But whilst I'm getting there, I am able to offer these services into professionals' lives and into businesses. So if that's you, if that's something that appeals to you and something you want to get in on, I'm a lot more affordable than anyone else. Hello, my love. Guys, can I have 2 minutes? I'm just saying goodbye, okay? Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
I'll be quiet in here.
I can get the job done and I've got the experience. So if you're looking to make the transition into a new era, hire me, chat to me, let's book something in together, do a little discovery call. I can map out exactly the pain points and also show you where AI shouldn't be used, because there is the shoulds and the shouldn'ts. So all of that beautiful strategy I can offer for free in the initial sales call, which would normally cost tens of thousands, and then thereafter build a project plan, get to understand exactly what it is that is going to take away the utilization of wasted time and replace that with ideally added revenue. So saving time, saving money overall, because now you've got a system, You haven't got all these external requirements and such that you need. And that obviously turns into you being able to do more of what you're great at and acquiring all that extra revenue because you're more free to do what it is that you did that job in the first place for. Okay, the kids need me. You guys get the first rice. Let me know if you're interested. Reach out to me. Let's set something up. But if there's no interest, I'm going to market with this, and it's going to be hot. Okay, obviously. So yeah, that's it for now. Chat soon. Ciao.